why I'm becoming a Beachbody Coach. Please excuse the appearance. It's mom life over here. I haven't showered yet. So I have two reasons for becoming a coach. The first one was for my kids. I wanted to set a good example for them and show them that working out and eating healthy is important. I didn't grow up with the healthiest meals as a kid. You know, my mom wasn't very in tune with all of that. And even now she still kind of gives me a hard time when I say, well, that's not good for you or whatnot, but that's another story. I'm still working on her. But I wanted my kids to grow up and know that, you know, it's not okay to sit down and eat a bag of chips when you get home from high school, which is what I did. Gross, I know. But I didn't know any better. So I want to teach them from as early on as possible that they can eat healthy and still enjoy certain things. Everything in moderation is what I think. So lead by example for them, and to also be able to be a stay-at-home mom for them. I grew up with my mom home, and I couldn't have imagined it any other way. And I really want to be able to be home with my kids as much as I can. My son has already been in daycare for just about 3 years. I finally got to take him out of daycare in June, because I do now stay at home with them, which is the best thing in the world. And I'm able to do that with making an income with Beachbody, and obviously my husband's income. So that's been a blessing, and I want to be a successful stay-at-home mom that also brings in an income for my family. And so far I'm doing great, and I cannot wait to see where the next year or two takes me. It's been such a blessing being a Beachbody Coach. And my other reason for wanting to do this is purely for myself. And I know that may sound selfish, but if I'm not happy, I feel like I take it out on my family, and I don't want to do that. So I needed it for my accountability, for me to feel better about myself. Growing up, I was always very active. I was a gymnast for 12 years, so I never really had to worry about what I was eating or if I was exercising. That bag of chips that I said, you know, my sister and I would come home from high school and sit down and eat an entire bag of chips. I can't even fathom doing that. I don't even keep chips in my house now. So I never had to worry about any of that. And then I quit gymnastics, and the weight piled on, and I became miserable. I battled with self-insecurity, just body image, everything you can imagine. I'm sure people understand what I'm saying. And it just took over. You know, I hated going out. I hated having my picture taken. I always tried to find something that was loose-fitting, you know, so I always struggled up and down with my weight. Probably did some not-so-healthy things, and I don't want my daughter to ever go through any of that. It's just not good for you. So then I went and had my two kids, and I used that as an excuse to eat everything in sight. And I put on 50 plus pounds with both of them. And after my son, he's almost 4, I did lose all of it, but I was far from in shape. I lost the weight, but I was just not in shape. My body was 100 times different from having him. Things were just not in the same place. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to have another kid. What's the point of trying to get back in shape at this point? I'm just going to have to do this all over again. So then I had my daughter. The same thing, 50 plus pounds, use the same excuses. Oh, I'll lose it after. So then I had her, and it just was not coming off as easily after her, and my body was in worse shape than it was with the first, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was just miserable and unhappy, and my biggest excuse was I don't have the time, which I'm sure everybody can relate to, because that's probably the number one excuse. And then Beachbody came into my life in, I think it was July, and I finally decided to make time for myself, even if it was just 25 minutes, and I started T25, and I was drinking Shakeology every day, once a day, and I felt so much better about myself, even just 25 minutes a day of exercise, and it just helped tremendously with my self-worth and how I felt about myself. So I continued to do that from July until January, when I finally said, okay, I want to give this a shot. I want to try and help others that are like me, that are struggling, that are moms and think they don't have the time when they can make